Hey, what up everybody, this is Stevie Breach coming to you with the UFC 178 coverage with this fight. Eddie Alvarez going up against Donald Cerrone here at UFC 178. This was a fight that honestly a lot of people came in with a big head for. Honestly, if you think about, all that Eddie Alvarez has been through, basically with this huge Bellator career. He debuted in 2009, I believe, on their debut show. Won the championship later that year and has been the 155-pound champion since he's been there. Basically, there came time to be some sort of dispute where Eddie Alvarez had thought that it was time for him to leave Bellator and he accepted a contract to move on and go to UFC, where Bellator came in and there was a huge 2-year battle about who owned the Eddie Alvarez contract, basically with Bellator stepping up saying that they should be able to match UFC's offer. So Bellator, not wanting to lose one of their champions, stepped up to the plate and had to overpay Eddie Alvarez. Basically, the way that they were able to work out a deal, it was that he was going to work 2 more shows, and champion or no champion, he was going to be granted his release. He was granted his release earlier this year, and on the same day that he was granted his release, he signed a contract with UFC and immediately put into this fight for UFC 178. That's how much UFC has had him on his brain. He came in, he had his debut tonight, and it did not look good. Honestly, you can think that basically in all 3 rounds, Eddie Alvarez was fighting from behind. In the first round, it wasn't so bad. The second round was downright horrible. And in the third round, he just looked like he was trying his best not to get knocked out. Basically, a lot of people get signed into UFC and they come in with a lot of popularity coming from somewhere else, and people draw from behind them. And a lot of those guys come in and they win their fight, and then they get pushed on to having big things. Some guys come in, if you think of Brock Lesnar, he comes in, he loses his first fight, and next thing you know, he's in a #1 contendership match, and he goes on to become the champion in only a matter of a few fights. It's weird to say. I know the UFC knows that Eddie Alvarez is a good fighter. I know that they put him in the right fights. He can stand up to deliver. I don't know where his head was tonight, because honestly, it just didn't seem like it. I hope that UFC doesn't lose respect for this guy. They stepped up to the plate and they paid this guy to come over from Bellator. Are they just going to be happy enough that they stole one person away from their competitor, or are they going to try and help this guy out to get him in the spot where he knows he can do it? He's got a large fan base, and so I'm hoping that they can push to get Eddie Alvarez another fight in UFC. Donnie Cerrone, it's hard to say that, the guy who won this fight, I'm barely even talking about. He won every round. He was ranked number 5 in his weight class. It's only going to go up from here. Donald Cerrone had an awesome fight tonight. He won that fight, and I don't know. I have more attention on Eddie Alvarez because this is the guy that's been being pushed down my throat. That this is the guy to watch at UFC 178. That's why he was so high on the card, and he lost. The man from Bully Beatdown. That's how I know him. Eddie Alvarez lost UFC 178.